fantasy studs and duds. All right, Eric, I want you to go first and give me your fantasy studs.
So I'm going to give you three. And with this, I'll preface this by saying I know there's going to be ups and downs, highs and lows, but the three guys that I kind of picked, and there's other ones too, is that I see a trajectory kind of up for them going forward. So I'll just go right off the bat. He had a huge fumble tonight, but I'm gonna go with just old faithful Derrick Henry. Look, I feel it's like basically like every season now where you're like, is this it was his last year? Was this the last big year that he's had? I mean, he's obviously getting up there now in age. He's been doing it for so long. He's taken probably such a beating, even though he's huge. Um, and he is picked high, but he's not picked, top 5 or top 7 or anything like that. Typically, it's usually maybe like early second round, end of the first round. And so, man, you give me 169 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's not going to catch a lot of balls. It's just not what he does, but he did get 1 for 13. Um, I think if you got a guy like him, I think he's just always just gonna have an opportunity to just have some huge games, especially on a team like Baltimore. You always got to think about what team they're on as well, and that is a team that's going to be scoring a lot, and he's going to be a big part of that. Another one is a guy that's probably in a lot of waiver wires in terms of quarterbacks, or maybe he was picked very late. Justin Herbert, man, he was slicing and dicing. International incident in Brazil. He had a you know what I mean. He had a real nice game. He's had some decent fantasy years, but he's also had not such decent fantasy years, and I think that's why he's just not really seen as a top kind of guy. But hey, 300 yards plus 3 touchdowns, carried the ball 7 times for 32 yards. It could be somebody that you're probably not going to start him next week, but I would grab him in case your quarterback gets hurt, in case you picked up somebody that maybe doesn't do as good as you thought they would. It is somebody to keep an eye on for sure. And then finally, somebody that, I mean, if you looked at his stats, it doesn't really scream out anything, but Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm kind of basing it on last year for, his rookie season. He had flashes, but it wasn't just an amazing season. And I'm kind of with this. I watched a lot of that game, and I'm just kind of going with the eye test. He Kyler Murray looks at him a lot. I think he's going to be a great red zone player. I think Arizona is going to surprise some people and be pretty decent. And that's going to be with kind of Marvin Harrison leading the way on the receiving side. So I look for him to have a lot better year than he had last year.
Yeah, those are great picks. I mean, obviously with Derrick Henry, Mr. Consistency, 30 years old, size and speed. I just don't understand how fast he is when he takes off after that, like that 10-yard, gets to 10 yards, gets to 20, and he is just gone, right? So he's going to be a stud all season long. Herbert, we talked about it. What do the Chargers need to do? Pass the damn ball. And
Slang
if you use
that thing.
Herbert, yeah, that's what I remember you saying, slang that thing. So if you use Herbert like he should be, I think he could potentially be a top QB1 in fantasy if he continues that way. Right. And yeah, Marvin Harrison, at least he showed where he is on the pecking order on obviously Arizona and kind of coming off that rookie year. So great picks there, Eric. I got mine. I got 3, obviously. And to me, I have 2 rookies on there because you weren't positive yet where they stand, where they're going to be on the team, and that number 1 for me is Emeka Egbuka. And what I wanted to see is the hype really there? Like, is he going to be that impact player? And obviously, they have Chris Godwin, who is out. You have Mike Evans on the other end, who's just always Mr. Consistency. He's going to get 1,000 yards. You got an explosive offense with Baker Mayfield, Bucky Irving. So you're kind of just trying to see where he's going to land. And boy, did he impress. I mean, he was currently going into Monday night. He is the top 4 receiver of the week.
Wow.
He had 67 yards, 2 TDs, 23.6 fantasy points in. Well, if you count the ESPN points PPR leagues, that's where he would be. So I think he showed why he was drafted, why he's a stud, and I like his ceiling going forward, even if Godwin comes back. And the reports coming out this weekend is that Godwin's probably not going to be back to about week 7, 8 because he had a second surgery to tighten his screws in the ankle, which is kind of concerning that that wasn't something that was talked about. He was left off the IR because there was hope that he would be back in October, and that doesn't seem like it's going to be likely. So that means it's going to be a Mecca show right now. My second guy is a guy that you were again kind of, let's see, like you weren't really positive who he would be on the team, and that's Ricky Parcell, right? Because you're like, all right, could he be a number 1 receiver? And in my opinion, he could be, especially with all the injuries going on in San Fran, and they need somebody to throw to. So the fact that he got 108 yards today was pretty impressive there. And I think just moving forward, the uncertainty of Jennings, like we already talked about, as far as the injury, I still feel there's uncertainty with Christian McCaffrey because of his history. Obviously, Kittle possibly being out. This could be a player that you can plug and play the next couple of weeks, and I think that could be a difference in for your fantasy team, kind of moving forward there. And then lastly, I got my man JCM. What's that stand for, Eric? What's that stand for? Jacory Merritt. Okay. Now going into the season, it was they traded away Brian Robinson, but you
Absolutely.
did not understand what the pecking order would be. There's a lot of hype around him, but you had the likes of Eckler, obviously. You had the likes of Gonzalez that they were talking about, or sorry, Chris Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And I was thinking Christian Gonzalez, Rodriguez, and then you obviously had Mickles in there too, right? So then you're like, I don't really know what the pecking order was, but then once you find out that Rodriguez was not going to play, and so you're like, all right, let's see what this guy's got, and he did not disappoint. He had 10 carries for 82 yards and a TD. So I think overall you kind of know that they saw a lot in him as a rookie, and for them to trade Brian Robinson away, I think that meant a lot.
Yeah, those are some good guys. I mean, good options there. Good. What I like about them, they're all young and they're all going to get a lot of opportunity. It looks like coming up here, whether it just be it's their time or they got other guys on their team injured. Obviously with JCM, he wasn't this top. I think he was picked in the 7th round, right? So it's not like he was going to be guaranteed to make the team at all. And so just the fact that he made the team and he led the team in carries today, that shows that there's something there. And so we know Washington's, I think they're going to be putting up some points this year. So yeah, I like those guys. I think definitely Emeka is going to be, a flat out stud for sure. Pearsall is just going to depend on if he's going to get some touchdowns and things, but hey, he's basically their number 1 right now. So, I think all those 3 guys have tremendous upside going forward.
Yeah, for sure.